How to raise money for a new business. So what do you do when you have an amazing business idea but no money to fund it? Well, unless your uncle is someone like Warren Buffett, then you're going to have to figure out how to raise capital. And of course, raising money is one of the biggest challenges any new or established entrepreneur may face. But spoiler alert, while raising money may seem difficult, there are more ways than ever before to get funding for a business, and getting capital is a lot easier than you may think. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you 12 of the biggest ways to get funding for a business. Stay tuned. Hey there, and welcome to our channel. I'm Sean with Life Accounting, the accounting company that saves people from high taxes and low profits. Now, before I dive in, I have to mention that this is not financial advice because I don't know your total financial situation. But if you watch this entire video to the end, then you will definitely discover some amazing ways to raise money. Let's go ahead and get into the 12 ways that I have to raise money for a business, starting with number 1, small business grants. Now, I love grants because it's one of the few ways you can raise money completely for free. You don't have to pay back a bank, you don't have to pay back private investors, and you even don't have to pay back your mama. Now let me briefly define what a small business grant is. It is simply a sum of money given to you for a particular purpose. Now the two biggest places to get grants are going to be from government agencies or organizations. And typically these organizations consist of nonprofits or very large corporations. For example, many people may not know that last year Facebook provided $100 million in cash grants and ad credits to small businesses across 30 different countries. They even dedicated a percentage of those cash grants to go to minority-owned businesses who were hit hardest by the virus. And to be considered for a Facebook grant, all you had to do was go to Facebook's grant website, complete a digital application, and upload documents which acts as proof for your application. In fact, that's pretty much the same process you're gonna follow when trying to go for most grants. Now, one important thing to note is that local grants and niche organizational grants are generally less competitive than state and federal grants. However, you should know that many organizations and governments have a cap or a ceiling on how much money can be given away as grants, either on a total or annual basis. So it's important to remember that you are not guaranteed to get a grant. Now, before we move on to number 2, I'm curious, have you ever received a grant or applied to get one? Tell me in the comment sections below. I want to know, and I'm sure all our viewers would love to hear from you as well. Now, of course, one of the most frustrating things about applying for grants is that it can take weeks or even months before you hear any correspondence from the grant that you applied for. That's why number 2 on my list is business credit cards. Now, I know that may seem a little bit obvious, but before you skip through this, just hear me out on a few points. So the reason why business credit cards is such a great option is because you can get approved very, very quickly. Sometimes within the same day. As long as you have really good personal credit as well, getting business credit isn't very difficult. And sometimes speed is important in business. When you have a great idea, you want to start working on it immediately, especially while you have motivation and momentum on your side. On top of that, if you delay getting started for too long, then a competitor or someone else may beat you to your idea. Now, here are some of the major pros of using business credit cards. So cards like Chase Inc. may have special introductory benefits such as 0% interest for 12 months. You can earn cash back on the first initial amount of money that you spend. You can get cash bonus rewards, redemption rewards, and more. And plus you can get fraud protection, which is something that you can get with most credit cards, but this is really important when you are starting a new business and you're building new relationships with people that you may not fully know yet. Of course, there are some downsides of getting business credit cards, as they can be risky, especially for new business owners, mainly because they have very high interest rates. So you'll want to make sure that you are making very smart business investment decisions and you have the means to pay off the credit after the 12 months or when the time comes. Okay, so those are the first 2 tips. Was that helpful so far? If so, please click that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It will help share this video to more people like you who are looking to raise money for a business. All right, number 3 on my list is use crowdfunding. Listen, if you have strong conviction about your idea and it's something new, it's something fresh, and maybe even a little bit weird, then you should use the power of the internet to raise money. Crowdfunding sites like GoFundMe have helped thousands of entrepreneurs raise money, get pre-sales, and even market test their product idea. And believe it or not, there are many people from all over the world who are willing to donate and support your business ideas. So it's just up to you to get up and put it out there, as well as make them a sweet offer for doing so. Moving on to the 4th way to raise money for a business, I have incubators and accelerators. Incubators and accelerators give startup companies access to many resources that help them get off the ground. Incubators typically give entrepreneurs physical space, business support, training, and mentoring. And of course, all those resources I just named are not direct cash investments, but these are still usually things that entrepreneurs may wind up spending money on anyway. For example, a good incubator may have an in-house attorney that can help you get started with setting up your terms of service, which instead of raising money to pay someone to do that, you'll just have that already embedded with your incubator. However, if you're only looking for cash, then you're gonna wanna join an accelerator. Typically, an accelerator will help companies with seed funding and provide additional resources as well in exchange for equity. So it's a bigger commitment for both the entrepreneur and the organization, which will be the accelerator. Moving on to number 5, I have angel investors. These type of investors provide capital in the form of loans or cash in exchange for equity in your business. Many technology companies were funded by angel investors, companies like Google and Yahoo, for example. The thing I've noticed about angel investors is that they are very rare to come by and are usually found through networking. On top of that, many angel investors have an unorthodox approach to how they choose their investment. So getting an angel goes beyond just having a good business model or idea. You need to have a little bit of luck too. That being said, if you have a really innovative idea and you have a great business network, then this can be a great route for you to take when it comes to raising money for your business. Number 6 on my list are bank loans. Now, the reason why I love bank loans is because the process is really straightforward. So unlike angel investing or getting grants or doing crowdfunding, as long as you fit a certain criteria when you apply for a bank loan, you have a high chance of actually securing funding. Now, we have a lot of great videos that expand on how to get business loans, how to get grants, and more. So what I'm gonna do is put a link to our money playlist in the description below so you can find out all the ways that you can raise money for your business. Of course, if you don't have an established track record, then getting business loans may be a little bit difficult, which is why I have number 7 on my list, which is to get a HELOC. Now, this tip is, of course, exclusive to homeowners, so I'll be very brief. HELOC stands for a home equity line of credit. Essentially, you're able to take equity out of your home, convert it into cash, and use it for whatever you need. Typically, the bank is the one who will give you a HELOC, which is basically a loan against your home equity. But the great news is HELOCs have super low interest rates. So it is definitely a great way to raise money and pay it back little by little as you grow. Now, taking out equity out of your home may seem risky to some people, but if you have conviction and confidence around your business, then at the end of the day, your home is a liability and your business can be an asset that pays it off. Let's go ahead and move on to the 8th way to raise money for your business. bootstrapping. And I know, I hear some of you guys already, all right? You guys don't want to hear this, but here it is. Okay, so what is bootstrapping? It's basically when you use your own money and then you use the profits from your business to grow instead of seeking outside capital. Now, I have personally bootstrapped 2 service business companies that have gone on to make millions of dollars. So I definitely recommend doing it, but it does come with some drawbacks. One of the major drawbacks is speed. You likely will run out of money and you likely will need to be patient until you have enough cash to grow. For example, let's say you spend $1,000 on an advertising campaign and you make $3,000 as a result of that. So you have a 3 times ROAS, or a return on ad spend. So you net $2,000 and things are looking great and you're ready to blow it up. But since you're bootstrapped, you only have $2,000 that you can spend on your next advertising campaign. And at best, you're gonna get a 3 times return on investment for $6,000. Whereas if you had $1 million ad budget, you could profit $2 million with that same 3 times return on ad spend. Okay, hopefully I didn't lose you there with all the math, but the bottom line is that when you're bootstrapping, you must be patient and discipline. But eventually you'll have all the capital that you need, and on top of that, you're gonna have overwhelming confidence in what you invest in because you've already had a lot of small wins to prove your success throughout the way. Now, if you want to learn more about bootstrapping, then make sure you check out my video on how to start a business without money. Now, moving on to number 9, you have friends and family. Now, if you're anything like me, you try your best to avoid borrowing money from people you know because, well, it's just a difficult thing, especially for me. You know, I love to show people that I can stand my ground and I can make it on my own. So maybe it's a little bit of an ego thing. However, if you are like me and you've exhausted all your resources, you may just have friends and family who are enthusiastic about being a part of your new company, and that can be a very viable option for you. In fact, I have a personal friend who raised over $50,000 to start a trampoline park, and it was just what he needed to take his business off the ground. And everyone came out of that investment extremely happy. All right, now, another great way to raise money for a business is by using number 10, product pre-sales. Now, the first company that comes to mind when I think about this is Tesla. Before any of the Tesla cars hit the market, they put together a solid prototype, a marketing campaign, and then they started taking pre-orders. And without a doubt, it helped Tesla raise capital needed for their production and their staff. Also, if you're a gamer, you've probably noticed some video game companies taking pre-orders, which in turn helps them to determine what the demand will be for that game, as well as assess the overall production needs. So you can take a page out of their book, offer your customers an option to pre-order your product, raise some capital, and use that capital to meet the market demands, while at the same time gaining some market insights. Now, if you have a more mature company or established company, then another great way to raise money is with number 11, purchase order financing. So if you have a business and you have a large volume of product orders coming in, but not enough cash to cover all the production of the products until the payment comes from the customer, then you can use purchase order financing, okay? This is how it works. A purchase order financing company will pay your supplier directly the cost for producing your products. When products are finally shipped to your customers, your business will receive the payment from your customers, and that money is used to pay back the purchasing order company. And they, of course, make interest throughout the way on the cost of the products until you pay them back. Now, a purchase order financing company may not be the most affordable way to raise money, but it is a great option for those who can't find financing elsewhere. All right, moving on to our last way to raise money for a business. Number 12, strategic partners. A great business partner can arrive in many different forms. It can come from a supplier who is willing to give you a credit on production until you get off your feet and you're able to pay them back. Or it can come from a distributor who really believes in your operating capabilities. Or it can even come from a customer who just believes so much in your mission and your values that they're willing willing to partner with you to help your business grow even faster. One important thing to know is that strategic partners are not necessarily financial partners, okay? A strategic partner is someone who will help lift some of the financial burdens that a business may have by providing something they have for free or at an extreme discounted rate. For example, if your business needs a warehouse to operate from, then a strategic partner could be someone who is willing to share a warehouse that they have in exchange for some equity in your business. Now, instead of you having to raise money and spend it on a warehouse, you have it for free and you have an experienced partner too. So strategic partners can help you get into a great place financially while you're still in that startup phase. All right, so there you have it. Now, before you go out and use some of these ways, let me say this. There are millions of successful entrepreneurs, including myself, who have never had to raise money. And when you raise money, it's really like a loan, and you alone have the responsibility to pay that loan back, okay? And sometimes if you fail to return that money, then the investors can claim your business or your assets or even some of your personal assets that you put up for collateral. On top of that, when you have an investor or a bank that loans you money, then you have to answer and report to them. And that can take some of the joy out of building your business. Of course, that's not always the case, especially if you have very nice investors, but you could also wind up with a very mean and prudent investor as well. So keep that in mind when you're considering raising money or raising capital for your business. Well, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If it was, make sure you click that like button. Now we have 2 more videos coming up next, so if you haven't seen those yet, make sure you check them out. I'm Sean, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.